All right, so now we are going to hear from Roger Warren of HuviGG. Roger, what is Huvi?
What is Huvi?
Great question.
Great question.
Yeah.
Are you there?
There we go. Hi, I'm Roger, and when I was growing up, sports was everything. I played every sport there was, and I enjoyed it and had a great time, and I loved all of it. I remember when I was playing, we played a game called kickball. Any of you ever played kickball? It's a lot like baseball, but with a little soccer type ball. So I'm playing with my friends, and my right foot was a little tired, so I decided I'm going to kick with my left foot. So as I go to kick, my knee twist. It was painful. I was hurting, but I was a kid. So I said, hey, I'm going to just forget about it and keep playing and keep going. Well, as the years got on, the pain got worse. The injury was there. And I knew that it was something that bothered me every day, but because I love sports and I love what I was doing, I just fought through it every day. And that was not the right way. That's something that's very important that we are experiencing all the time, and that's injuries in sports. There are over 3.5 million injuries every year with sports. Over 775,000 end up in the emergency room. And parents are very concerned about this. Parents are saying, I don't want my kids to play sports because I don't want them to get hurt. I don't want them to have a concussion. We think that there are two types of athletes. There are the traditional athletes. I don't know what just happened. It looks like one of my screens is not going to show. All right, well, we'll continue here. Okay, so basically there are two different types of athletes that we feel. One is the traditional athlete. That is the athlete that's going to play all your sports, football, soccer. And then we think there's also another athlete that's really important, that really helps us when it comes to talking about the injuries that are happening. And that is the non-traditional athlete, or the esports athlete. So what is esports? If I can get this to show us here. All right, we'll go here. Well, what has happened here, and I apologize for my screen's not working with exactly how my PowerPoint was, but what we have done is we have actually started working with a company called SportsThread. SportsThread is a free app for youth athletes that helps them get scholarships and helps them get to the next level. Marcus was a kid that I met a couple of years ago. Great student, great athlete. Marcus, when he was chosen for the Florida-Georgia All-Star game. This was 2 years ago. When he got there, coach went to him and said, hey, Marcus, you're pretty good. How many scholarship offers do you have? Marcus says, I don't have any. He goes, well, let's see if we can help you with that. He goes, you have Facebook, you have Instagram. Yeah, I have all those. Well, we're going to put you on SportsThread. Now, with SportsThread, they took some videos, some pictures, they put him on there. This was on Friday. On Monday, by the time they played the game, Marcus had 3 scholarship offers. That's what SportsThread does. SportsThread has helped over 10,000 athletes get scholarships to get to the next level. I remember when I was playing, I worked really, really, really hard. I was actually all-conference my senior year, but I was from a small town in Mississippi. Anybody want to know how many scholarship offers I had? 0. Why? I didn't know how to get out. I didn't know how to let myself be known. I didn't know how to put myself in front of the others. That's what we do here with SportsThread and Huvi. We're going to let Huvi show you how to reach your scholarship goals in esports just as well as any other sport. What is esports? Esports is video games. It's Fortnite. It's Call of Duty. League of Legends. It is what so many kids are playing in their basement or in their bedroom, and we want to pull them out of there, bring them into an environment where they can compete together just like any other sports. This is what our mission is. We want to help both the non non-traditional and the traditional athlete get to that next level, get to those scholarships that they so want and desire. SportsThread is a completely free app for youth athletes. There's over 42 sports on there, including esports. And these athletes, coaches, and families are on there, and we provide a way through Huvi to also include the esports athlete also, the non-traditional athlete. Huvi provides the venue to bring these kids out from their bedrooms and putting them into an environment where they have a chance to compete. They have a chance to do everything that traditional athlete may do on the field. They have a chance to be able to come in. And this is what gives them the exposure they need. For me, I had no way of getting things out. That was years ago. SportsThread provides a way for the football, basketball, baseball, and so many other athletes to get scholarships. Well, now Huvi allows the esports athlete to have a place to come so that they can be seen and then be a part of SportsThread and get those scholarships from over 200 universities that offer those scholarships. So what is our ask? Why am I here, fumbling through this and going through my slides? I'm here because we are looking for partners. Sorry, that screen didn't show up either. So what are we doing? We're looking for people. We're looking for partners. We're looking for organizations. Now, some of you may know that Huvi has an arena at the Oviedo Mall. To be honest, it's not what we need to be doing. It is not giving us an opportunity to get ourselves where we need to be. So what do we need for partners? That partner could be a nonprofit organization. It could be an innovative center. It could be a university, college, high school. We need partners of people that, organizations that come and say, hey, we can work with you. You provide the equipment. We'll provide everything else, and we'll help get these kids to that next level. What do we also need to make that happen? Well, it's not up there, but it was on my slide, but it's sponsors. Now, how do we make all this happen? It's got to be paid for some way. We look for sponsors. That could be a law firm, that could be a hospital, that could be a business, that could be anything in here that says, I want to put my brand in front of these folks over here that are doing so much for the community. SportsThread has been a free app for many years. It's helped a lot of kids get to the next level. And the way it does it is very similar to the way a Facebook or an Instagram would. It does it because it has advertisers that will place their business, whether it's a small business or a large corporation, on there for those athletes and their family to see. You guys know who the biggest influencers, as now we talk and see social media influencers, but the biggest influencers out there have always been kids. They make the decision, they influence, they ask their parents to buy certain things. So advertising and being a part of SportsThread puts your product in front. You also help these kids get to that next level, but they also will buy your product because they know you're helping them as well. So again, what is it that we're looking for? We're looking for partners. We're looking for sponsors. We're looking for anybody in here. If you know someone, please contact me. Let me know. Let's work together to build this, because to me, I believe both the traditional and the non-traditional athlete needs to have an opportunity to get to their next level, whatever that may be. Thank you.
Questions? Josh.
I'm going to try to do this without getting yelled at by Deja. I love the non-traditional athlete thing. I absolutely love it. One thing on your slides, on your mission slide, that first statement was your mission statement. Maybe reword a little bit, but I think the rest, if you could just show graphically how Huvi and SportsThread work together and kind of show that as far as an image. As far as your sponsorship, I think the old model was for traditional, the students would go out and they would help you get sponsors, right? They would have a team and they would go out to local pizzeria, and the pizzeria would say, sure, I'll sponsor your team. Could you do that here as well? Is that a possibility to have your kids as teams go out and help you find these local community sponsors?
And absolutely, and that's the That's kind of what we're looking for. We're looking for when we get these teams to go out and build sponsors, bring the sponsors in. We're also looking for other corporate and other type sponsors that want to come in and be able to help and be a part of it. Our original model that we had at Huvi at the Oviedo Mall was really based up around a family entertainment center. And what we really found with that is that's not what we want. That's not who we are. We want to be able to help these kids. So that's why we've saying, look, let's find partners. Let's find ways to get out of there and put this in multiple areas where these kids can be there or they already are there. Being inside a bedroom, being inside a basement, as they used to say up further up north, they're not really getting any exposure. They don't know who they're playing with on the line that they're talking, but they're not really building themselves up to like they do. When you bring them together as a team, there's leadership, there's team building, all of these things that come out by having them together. And the only way to get them out of their bedroom and do that is to offer that perfect spot for them. And that's where we're looking for it. And with that, as you said, when we have the teams in the areas, we want to encourage them to go out and help bring the sponsors and bring those in as well. Sir.
So thank you for that. With regard to the presentation, in the future, I'm sure you're going to test it before you get up there.
We tested it before I don't know what happened. We ran through it all over, but hey, I think so.
The Google thing.
Yeah, it's probably what it was. It usually is. The thing is I like that you started out with a story. Okay. However, I think it would have helped you if you had continued that story and switched it from you personally to somebody else that had a similar type of thing going through, and then they weren't good in traditional sports, but they were good in esports, and then how your organization or an organization such as like yours helped them achieve whatever success that they wanted to achieve. Because, the 3.3 billion people play games. I have been a game company for the last 9.5 years. And so there's lots of stuff in there. And also I would include some more data with regards to how really big this is. I mean, you did touch upon, the size of the industry and whatnot, but really, I mean, gaming is pervasive throughout global society, not just the United States. And China is the biggest game center in the world. So, and then the other thing I would have liked to have seen was more of the benefits of what happens when people come to you and they utilize your services or anything like that. What can they expect? So we're talking about scholarships.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So that's a good thing. Okay, and you got 10,000 people that come through the program and got scholarships. That's great. I would hammer that a little bit more, but that's. Oh, and on the slides, too many words. 30-point font, at least. No more than 5 bullets, and then. But you know your stuff, which I enjoyed that. You knew your stuff. You told us a story. You went through with it, regardless of the presentation, but yeah, just okay.
Thanks for that feedback. And by the way, when I did this at home, I have a much better presentation than I just gave you. And when you look up and you see that your slide isn't working, it kind of throws you into a spin of like, oh my God, what am I going to say next?
I would say one more thing too. So you mentioned, Deja, you mentioned the presenters, right? So, or the people asking questions. The presenters, though, we need to limit the answers to 30 seconds and the questions to 30 seconds. So, yes. Sean, and then.
This is great. What you are in the business of monetizing the talent. That's it. Not an amazing way. I was looking for something different. I thought you gave the statistics, so many kids are getting hurt and this and this and this. I thought you were coming up with an answer for that. Parents are worried, concussion and this and that. So you started that way. I was looking for the things that would have been really good.
And I agree.
Worried about the concussion and everything. I thought you were coming with a solution. But you changed into new things. That's fine. But you lost the audience in the beginning. If you're an investor, that's where they will be thinking about. What is, so you want to see how to get there. Otherwise, it's great. Monetizing the talent, that's what we're going to that business. So I wanted to understand how people think. Get to in the
Sure.
6.5 seconds to 10 seconds, get to the heart. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, we have.
Yeah. Is it on? Okay. Roger, congratulations for making it through that. I want to piggyback on a couple of comments. I didn't hear what you were saying up front, so if I'm repeating myself, I apologize. But when you came out, you were hot and you were strong. I felt like I was about to see a TED Talk. And so I want to congratulate you on your opening because it was full of emotion and I was engaged with you. Obviously, when you hit that roadblock, your whole performance split. Absolutely. And what anybody in your shoes would want to do, I know you know this, is try to figure out how to get back into that character beat because you switched into like a business presentation mode. And I was like, oh God, Roger, pull up. So that's one piece of feedback I wanted to share. The other thing I wanted to piggyback on what Rupert was saying is regarding metrics and statistics around the influencer market. There are a lot of people in the world that have no idea how much money is in esports, and you and I know this, and Rupert knows this. So in particular, there's an influencer called Ninja. Probably the young folks in the room know who Ninja is, a lot of people don't. But I used in the past some statistics on how much Ninja earns in a day and by hour. And if you put that stuff up there, I think people in this room would be like, OMG. We're talking millions of dollars a day this guy is making playing Fortnite. So I wanted to offer that as a suggestion to bring. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I shouldn't wait too long to ask my question because pretty much everyone has said what I was going to say. But the big thing is, when I was watching it, I kind of was confused about what you were pitching. I wasn't sure if it was HuviGG or Sports Thread. And then you say esports. I mean, I know esports, and I know all these things, but I felt like if I was somebody that didn't know this field at all, I'd be really confused about, okay, your company's HuviGG or your company's Sports Thread, or do you work for esports? It just seemed kind of confusing. And I think the solution actually is what Josh and Rupert said, is the graphic and staying with the story, because the story was great. I think we can all agree. I was hoping to hear more of the story and kind of see that come full circle. But in terms of the worst thing that Rupert said, I mean, I completely agree. I always think of the story of James Cameron pitching the second Aliens movie. You guys know that movie? Where he just walks into the room and he writes the word alien for the first movie on the board, and then he writes a $sign afterwards. And for him, the story is that they took it as, oh, that's what they call aliens. But he was saying, we're just going to make a movie that makes more money. That was his pitch, just have more aliens. And that image just is forever stood in my head, even though I've never seen it. So yeah, the idea of having some more graphics with the data and the comment about Ninja, I mean, that's money, literally. One more comment I want to make is when you were telling your opening story, and traditional athlete and non-traditional athlete, my first thought was, oh, he's gonna go into the Gran Turismo movie, which they recently told that story about, the kid who just fell in the game, but the story in the movie is about how his parents didn't really necessarily support him because he wasn't an actual athlete. And I was thinking, oh, he's gonna make a relevant reference to that, and that would have been so perfect for your pitch, or to have some kind of graphic on the screen to because again, people that aren't necessarily in this field, they might kind of pull back, but they probably heard of that movie, or maybe they've seen the movie, and it would help with your story to kind of bring the story full circle. But again, I thought the presentation was great. I wouldn't worry about the roadblocks. I mean, again, I would just lean on myself if that ever happened to me, like with the slides, fuck the slides, it's all you, it doesn't really matter what's on the screen, in my opinion. So.
Thank you.
Good question. Oh wait,
Good question.
Did you have a question, Dave?
Some feedback, really quick. To piggyback off of everybody, I didn't understand the market, so maybe when I'm done, if you could clearly define the problem you're trying to solve and exactly who it's for and the potential, because it sounds like the potential is huge. As far as running into roadblocks with your presentation, if I could offer one suggestion, something that I like to do is when I'm practicing at home, set a, you have your iPhone, set a recording, audio recording, close your laptop so you're not using the presentations, and try and give it blind, right? Because if you can give your own presentation blind without looking at your slides, and then listen to the recording back so you know where you stumble, you know where you start going on a tangent, that might just help your confidence in front of an audience like this. Second, I think that's really the value of coming here and presenting and facing your nerves and handling those roadblocks. Because if you can do it in front of us, you can do it in front of an investor. If you can do it, like, you're going to fall to the level of your preparation, and this is where you prepare. So I just want to commend you for that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I did that, actually. If I played mine, it would probably sound so much better than what I just did out there, too. So I did record it and I did go over, but I lied and looked back onto that.
One more question and then.
Actually, I have a couple comments. This is based on my opinion. I'm going to tell you what you did well and what I think you can improve upon. I think you did really well on the story part, which is, many people already said that. You pulled me right in, and I like the part that you also give a case study about Marcus, because from no name to get 3, scholarship, and that is very relatable to parents who have kids who might need for colleges. Regarding the slides, I think there's already, Ruben has talked about a lot of information. You probably only need a few words, a sentence like location, contact, that's where it attracts us. And then you can explain the rest. Just give us some of the bullet points, what you want us to remember. That's the first thing. When I'm busy reading, I don't pay attention to you. I can't hear what you say. And then the last slide before this one, you have something, and then the word partner, very tiny. And you have a lot of empty space. That's valuable estate that you don't use. And I would love to have to see, okay, who's Marcus' face on the slide you talk about Marcus? So hence the name to a face, so make us realize that that is the real case. So that's one thing. And then the last slide, I would do like partners. So just have the word partner and maybe college, image of a college, image of a church, image of nonprofit, that who you're looking for sponsorship and partnership. That image is going to imprint us, and then we're going to go out and see, oh yeah, my church can sponsor, or some institution can sponsor. So that gives us a better memory about your presentation. But overall, I really love the energy. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, that partner page actually had a lot more on there. It didn't show up.
All right, so you have time for one more question, and that is, what can we as a community do for you?
Just support esports. Again, if anybody has knows of any organization that this could benefit, just let me know so we can work together with them and bring what we have over into them as well. So thanks again for letting me be up here, kind of stumbling through that. Thanks for all of the feedback, the questions, and
thank you very much. I know Roger will be here afterward for more questions and feedback. Before we get into that, though, I want to do to our next step. For everybody who has not presented, and I've told several of you, and it's even on my blog. If you go to problogservice.com and go to the blog, I've got what goes into presenting on someone else's tech. But ideally, you have a 6-slide presentation. Again, ideally, 6-slide presentation. Your first slide is your opening splash screen. Your 6th slide is your contact information. And then the 4 slides in between are something like your problem, how big is the problem, the solution, how do you make the solution happen. Or it could be something like, this is something that we are dealing with as a company, this is what we have tried, this is what it is costing us, some other 4th slide. But then, and this is the important part, upload your slide deck to Google Drive. Okay. Upload your slide deck to Google Drive test it out, because you saw what happened with Rogers. Because he went from PowerPoint to Google Drive, those Google and Microsoft just don't play well together. It always messes up formatting. I was even fixing some things beforehand.
Apple too, probably.
Yeah, Apple too. For whatever reason, if I make something on Keynote, I have to export it to PowerPoint and upload it to Google Drive. It doesn't mess up as bad as Microsoft PowerPoint to Google Drive, but maybe it's just because I know what to avoid. But if you upload it to Drive, and then you'll share that with me, then you know it works because you have tested it out, because you see what happens when you just send a PowerPoint and we upload it and don't do anything with it. So keep that in mind. But then also, like I said, ideally 6 slides. 4 are your content slides. 1 is for decoration, 1 is for contact. Good?
Better presentations from now on. I see
Better.
it coming.
Yes, that's what I'm hoping.
Yay.
All right, so since we don't have a second speaker, I like to do these discussions from time to time. And so the discussion was, what was the last job you had before this job? And so my last job, before I became a content marketing agency owner, was I was the crisis communication director for the Indiana State Health Department, or as I like to call it, oh shit PR. Because if it made you say oh shit, I got to talk to the media. There was another guy who was the oh good PR guy. And so if it's like, oh good, then he got to talk to the media. Like the State Health Department is going to have a lactation station at the Indiana State Fair. Oh good, talk to Ken. We're all going to die from this thing. Oh shit, talk to Eric. So that was my previous job. So anybody else who's got a previous job? Tim.
The last thing I did before going on myself independent again was working for Sony. I've heard of Sony. Introducing the 4K TV system at Best Buy, training their employees on it.
Oh wow.
Because they really didn't know how to sell. So I taught them how to sell, not how to do the product. They knew the product, but they didn't know how to sell. They'd see me take 2 minutes and they'd be up for a half hour and the customer would walk out. So overload them with information. No. What are they wearing? To get their attention and that's something to talk about. Hey, Denny, I like that shirt you got on from Lake Mary High School. Something like that. And then you go with your questions and you listen. That's it. Answer the questions. And they're going to ask you, like I said, how many did you want today? Well, just one. They just closed the sale for you because they said just one. If you say how many you want, regardless of the product, you're not going to get the right answer. But let them answer for you. Keep that in mind for any business.
All right, excellent. Scott.
Well, technically, I have the day job that actually pays a fair portion of the bills. But I'm gonna call that as my last job because my current thing that I'm working on is, of course, my accelerator program. I am with a national audiovisual and computer rental company. I act as a consultant to the sales team. So they say, I sold this, my customer wants this. I go, we don't do that. And then it is my job to figure out how we can do that because the salesperson already promised that they could do something that the company doesn't do. So let that be a lesson. That if you do that within your company, if you overpromise, then be sure that you can overdeliver. Because if you overpromise and underdeliver, we all know what happens with that. And understand that if you are overpromising and someone else in your company is having to deliver what you overpromise, you are making an enemy.
For life. Sean had one, then Bob.
Most of you heard me last week. For 1962 to 1992, I was an entrepreneur of the corporation. Make a big corporation, thinking what is happening. You saw me presenting more than $12 billion plans. Well, I learned a lot. Then we got bought by Philip Morris, a vehicle company. I didn't like it. They were killing people. a line. And I started my own. I knew exactly how to start small businesses. That's what I was doing. Okay? I didn't care if competition was. I thought I would start helping startups and small businesses. That's what I'm doing right now. For the last 30, 35 years, I call myself a business Sherpa. I know exactly how the big boys play the game. Putting them up. That's what I'm trying to do. Helping startups to succeed. And I have more than dozens of brands going on. Most of them will be billion-dollar businesses. Did anyone heard about a successful brand or anything?
Bob. All right, my name's Bob. My first job, 12 years old, 75 cents an hour, was given a pitchfork to clean out a cow barn floor. My last job, timeshare. And it's up to you to figure out what those have in common.
Jim.
I would say showing a lot of shit. So when I have been an entrepreneur most of my life. When I think of a job, a J-O-B, just overgrown, working for someone else, minimum income, punching a clock. That I did about 20-something years ago. The last job I had doing that was working in a country club tending bar. But most recently, before I did what I'm doing now, I owned and ran a mortgage planning firm. So basically, I'm a certified mortgage advisor. I don't do that anymore. But what that means is basically I'm a financial planner specializing in mortgages. So what I would do is I am not a big believer in paying off your house. I think you're taking, if you have a $200,000 home, and you've got a $200,000 mortgage, okay, you're using other people's money to leverage and build wealth in that direction. And if you have the cash to pay off that house, you're better off keeping that cash in a separate side fund and let it earn a rate of return, a higher rate of return than you're paying for your mortgage. Even in today's lending environments, because remember, rates are fluctuating. So if you have an 8% mortgage on a house, you can get 10, 12, 15% in the market. You just need to know where to look and where to go.
All right, Jessica.
Good morning, my name is Jessica Dawson. I'm a unicorn in the room that's looking for a unicorn evaluation, and I will get it, but I used to work at Home Depot in customer service. Everybody's in sales. You can't get out of sales. So you're listening to your customer nonstop, figure out what they want. Well, I'm listening to everybody in here what they want for their pitch. I've been across the country in September talking to angel and VCs to get that pitch correct. And I will be pitching here very soon, talking about my fintech company and my life coaching, maybe a little bit. But I am having a blast. It is a lot of fun showing people what we can do with our creativity if we work together and collaborate. What Home Depot taught me a lot. In that 25 years, you've got to go above and beyond. You've got to push yourself, and it's hard work. One thing I did see that management, any of those companies did not have, and that's something to reward their employees very quickly. They didn't have any bonus structure. It was either, when I was in management, the only thing you could really do was, hey, add a boy, add a girl, or threaten and fire them. Write them up. Can't do a lot. Well, when I pitch, y'all understand what I'm talking about and the problem I'm solving.
All right, Patty.
Patty Brown Sword. My last job was a manager of association strategy and special projects for the AAA National Office. Yeah, it was basically nobody else wants to do this. Could you do it? Yeah. So I was the chief of staff for the executive director of the Strategy, Insights, and Experience Group. So I got a lot of learnings on how to utilize business intelligence, strategic planning, customer insights, member or customer experience, and then also become a futurist on understanding trends so that my executive director could go around to all the different clubs and talk about all the amazing new things coming on the horizon. But then the CEO of the AAA National Office would throw in fun things like, hey, manage this entire CEO group and handle all the paperwork for that. And oh, Our automotive data is a mess. Could you figure out why? And so I had to learn how to do all the interviews and understand data mapping and understand all the things. And then now, at Grind with Data, this is all I do, is special projects for companies that don't know how to get from A to Z. I figure all that out. So that helped me out a lot.
Awesome. Good time for one more. We have time for two more. Jenny and then Pamela. Keep it short and we will have time for two more.
This goes back to what Scott was saying. I used to be a productivity management consultant many years ago. Before that, I worked for Brown Zarbach, which was the second biggest paper company in the world. We had the darndest salesman. He'd go out, he'd come in, I just sold 60,000 units. John, we don't make that. But there's an incredible salesman, just didn't sell what we made. And doing that, just within corporations itself, it could be very interesting. We want to sort of saw production and maintenance should be friends. Give you some idea what goes on out there.
All right, Pamela.
Hi, my name is Pamela. My current company is called Right to Be Seen. I teach arts mentoring as team data production. And my last long-term job was actually at Universal Studios Florida. I worked there for 4 years in attractions ops. And by the time I left the company, I left with 10K savings in the bank and just worked solo at my first production for 6 months. And I did it without getting any pay. I did it giving everything else to that other nonprofit I was working with. And I'm still in that boat of figuring out like both ways are tugging on my heartstrings between going pro bono with helping other companies and finding out like where you're getting paid for what you do, because both things are very important, and I'm an arts brain, but I'm less on the business end of things. So it's a struggle bus because I know this isn't short. I'm sorry, Eric, but it's what I came in with on my heart today. And so that's been I'll cut it off, but that's been my experience. Thank you guys for listening.
All right, thank you. All right. Remember, next week we are off. Turkeys can fly, apparently. Anybody not get that reference? Come see me. Otherwise, I recommend you watch that episode with your family. WKRP in Cincinnati. I'm old enough to remember watching it new each week. There's no chat to download really, but if you feel like downloading the chat on Zoom, click the 3 dots at the bottom right corner and click Save Chat. Join us on meetup.com. That's where, tell me your names again. Cliff and
Leslie.
That's where Cliff and Leslie found us. So if you are not on our meetup group, please join up, meetup.com/1millioncups Orlando. Each word is hyphenated. We also have a Facebook group. We have a YouTube channel. That's where each of the videos that we record each week, thanks to Scott, that's where we post those. And then I repost those a few weeks later on our Facebook page. And finally, connect with somebody that you met here. There are lots of new people. There are lots of people you have not met. Meet somebody. Arrange to get coffee. You can go to Donut Central up on Cimarron and Loma, or you can go to any one of the local coffee shops. Meet for lunch. Have a phone call. Have a Zoom call. Get to know one another, because this is how we build our network of people who can help us. This is how we build our community. So thank you very much. Have a good week. Don't forget your parking pass. And we will see you all in 2 weeks.